Hello. Within the past couple of years, there's been a major revival that's happened at Asbury University in Wilmore, Kentucky, and some people were downing it, saying it was nothing. But one of the things that I noticed with a lot of the critics and a lot of the people nowadays, they don't know anything about the history of revival. They don't know the church history. They just know what the debunkers have said. So I'm going to refer you right now to the best revival historian you never heard of. His work was pretty well known in the 1970s to the early 1980s, but he seems to be almost forgotten right now. But the truth is, there's still a number of his books still around which you can still find, and I'd like to introduce you to James Edwin Orr. He died in 1987, and he worked with Billy Graham. He worked with a number of other people. He was one of the originals on the board of the original board members for Campus Crusade for Christ, and he had a worldwide ministry, and he did a great deal on the history of revivals because it just didn't start in Asbury. That's not the only one. The church has had a history of revivals going back to the day of Pentecost. And Billy Graham, as I was familiar with his ministry, Billy Graham said, Dr. J. Edwin Orr is, in my opinion, one of the greatest authorities on the history of religious revivals in the Protestant world. And there's a long list of his publications that he's had over the years. And I'm fortunate to have a couple of them. The one which is my favorite right here, The Light of the Nations, Evangelical Advance and Renewal Advance in the 19th century. This is about the worldwide revivals that happened from the beginning of the 1800s and through the end. And there's some interesting tidbits you'll find in there about the social advance, social reformations that happened, and some of the people that were affected by revival, such as Dostoevsky and some of the others. And it's amazing to see how the revivals of such as 1859 revival affected people around the world. And that's what you can find in that book right there. If you go on Wikipedia, you'll find uh, his biography there, the list of his works. And also, um, this is another one. Since we just had the Asbury Revival recently, Campus Aflame, Dynamic, A Student Religious Revolution, J. Edwin Orr, Student Religious Revolution, back in the 1970s. Oh yeah, from the 1960s onward on campuses, people were talking about revolution. But the where John Lennon said, "You better free your mind instead." That's where Jesus came in and changed a lot of lives to give them the freedom that wasn't going to start out there, but start in here. The real revolution of a changed life. So I'd encourage you to take a look at that one to see how colleges and universities have been transformed by revivals too, and take a look at his other works too. See if there's anything there. I would recommend Full Surrender, that had a great deal of influence on people's lives in the 1940s, 1950s. And also, since you made it so far, I'm going to refer you to a playlist of his, in the end screen here, of his works on the history of revival. And there also, if you just do a search on J. Edwin Orr, you can find all sorts of things on um, YouTube. But I'm afraid that people have forgotten a lot of the history of revival over the years, and they're just going by their own limited experiences, not by the experiences of believers for 2,000 years, where revival and spiritual awakening had taken place. So that's all I have to say right now. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. I hope this is helpful.